A near disaster was averted in Disneyland this week when a teen exited his vehicle on Tiana's Bayou adventure just before the 50-foot plunge, falling down the massive drop, and miraculously was unhurt. And the end of it. We're going to talk about it today on That Park Place. Vash, this is one of the strangest, wildest stories I've ever heard.
It is absolutely strange. I remember reading about it first on Monday morning, and I was so taken aback by it. I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Disney Scoop, never heard quite that website before. I had to make sure this is not satire, make sure this is not felonious in any way.
Yeah.
Did some investigation, and yeah, all the reports corroborated each other, which is very interesting. And it was days before we actually got that video out that this was actually, confirmed. But there was some back and forth here because of just how wild and crazy this sounded. A lot of people not necessarily wanting to even believe that this was even possible. I know Scott Gustin, he was a little cagey with his updates as well from Disney officials. So, they were, it was so wild and crazy that nobody wanted to admit.
Yep. This right here says a frightening incident at Disneyland has raised new questions about guest safety after a 13-year-old boy exited a ride vehicle on Tiana's Bayou adventure and went down the attraction's iconic 50-foot drop. According to Fox News, the incident occurred on Sunday evening in Disneyland's Tiana's Bayou adventure, the log flume attraction that replaced Splash Mountain in 2024. And here's the actual footage, Vash. Let's take a look at what exactly happened here. There's obviously footage shot from a phone off of somebody's phone. So let's see. So here's the log. And then here's the boy right here. So let's have a look at what happened. Good Lord. The way his body hits. It's like a rag doll.
Yeah. There was some discussion.
Right there, hits his head, and then just and that's not like a smooth slide either. Isn't that like have grooves in it and stuff?
It does have grooves in order to create that kind of rapids effect going down. So yeah, that's the real scary thing about this. Now, it occurred in a manner that is very interesting, because a lot of people were saying, at least for the people who actually saw it and were actually providing their stories online, they were saying that the boy tumbled, or maybe have gotten feet first. The fact that he went head first down, pretty wild and crazy stuff. Now, here's the thing, Marvin. The drop and fall isn't your worst fear. Your worst fear is maybe perhaps that boy being knocked out, right? And then maybe, something happened with that body of water down below. But even beyond that is another vehicle actually coming in behind it. Now,
thankfully, they were able to hit the emergency stop as quickly as possible. But so it looks like he's trying to climb out feet first.
Right.
And then just hits right there, and then just goes sliding down.
And then is dragged by the log right there. This is why, there are myriad reasons as to why you should keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicles at all times. But to get out at this point right here, it is unbelievably dangerous situation. Now,
in the Disneyland version, because in the Walt Disney World version, you just have a shared lap bar.
Yes.
So, with the shared lap bar, I am a great deal larger than my wife. So when we go on Tiana's Bayou together, which is rare, she could probably slip right out if she really wanted to.
Right.
But this is a single rider, so this is different.
Yes, it is single, but there is no restraint system currently in place at Disneyland Splash Mountain.
Really? There's no lap bar?
There's no lap bar. There are no seatbelts. There is no restraint system of any kind.
It used to be like that at Walt Disney World. You used to just have a thing you could hold on to.
Correct. This line of thinking changed, I think, beginning in the year 2000 or so. There were allegations that maybe Disney would actually install some kind of safety mechanism for this particular attraction right here. Right. Actually, I think the conversation back then was over-the-shoulder restraints. Now, Disney didn't end up doing that. There were two things that did change, though. One was clearly defined separators between seats. That had never been something that was implemented at Disneyland's Splash Mountain. It was just kind of like a single log, basically back in the day, where or like a single bench that you straddle. That changed with the update. I want to say around 2011 or so, but I could be wrong about that. I'm trying to get my dates correct. Now, the big thing operationally that changed around that time was that you had a cast member actually stationed at the base of the lift hill. Some actually have it at the top of the lift hill, which is interesting. I think they tried that configuration for a while. But at the base of the lift hill, there is a cast member station permanently right there with a view of a monitor, actually looking at the apex right there, and a hand over the emergency stop. And I believe that's what saved this boy's life ultimately. Because
good thing they were paying attention, because in a situation like that where you're probably looking at the same screen every day and never having to take action ever.
Right.
Now, God, I can't believe. Why would you not even have a seatbelt?
Well, so the cast member being stationed there was a compromise, right? And the reason why is because this ride was already low capacity to begin with. Then when they changed to a single file configuration, it even was reduced in capacity even further. And so the idea was, okay, well, if we add a restraint system, that's going to take this attraction to a crawl. So let's go ahead and try to avoid that with safety procedures on the back end there.
And then by doing that, we got this.
Well, yes. Well, I will say, I mean, this attraction's been open since 1989. This is the only time I've ever seen this occur. And it's...
I'm amazed that it's the only time it's ever occurred, because if people can climb out, I'm shocked. Well, I think it's the only time it's ever occurred, like, in this specific spot. But I'm sure people have climbed out at other times in other areas. We've heard of people getting out of the logs before, like,
and people
in the attraction.
Well, and people have crawled out of the logs at Walt Disney World's version with restraints. So it's not to say that, and just like you beautifully pointed out there, Marvin, because it's a single lap bar and shared, right? It doesn't make for a completely perfect system that people can't shimmy their way out. I remember covering in that park place actually, maybe it was last year around this time, when a father and son actually deboarded themselves from the logs right before the kind of skipping falls laughing place scene, or I guess it's Tiana's by adventure equivalent is the miniaturizing scene. They got out right there. So the thing is even though it's kind of crazy that this doesn't have a restraint system, no restraint system I think is going to be perfect. And that's the thing, if they implement something on this, which a lot of people are afraid of, this will take ride capacity down to, I wouldn't be surprised if it was sub 1,000 levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, yet another reason, Vash, why the switch from Splash Mountain was, so ill-advised, because on Splash Mountain, you're having such a good time at this point, you're not climbing out of that log.
That's very true. And well, here's the other thing, Marvin. You see, you jest, but somebody was actually bringing up the fact, and I kind of believe this, that the tone of going up that lift hill was much darker back in the day. So the idea being that if a kid was going to get out, maybe they do it sooner rather than later. It's an interesting idea. It's an interesting theory. Obviously, there's no way to measure that.
So it's a 13-year-old. We don't know yet if he was like special needs or anything like that. Like, could it be possible that he got scared at the last second, tried to bail before the drop, and then just was too late?
Yes, and there's also social media reporting out there that suggests that maybe the parents actually stated that he was being reckless and trying to maybe jump from one log to another. Now, again, those are unconfirmed reports right there. So I want to go ahead and be very clear. We haven't confirmed that at that park place. I haven't confirmed that reporting, but there are at least reports out there that indicate something like that. Whatever the case might be, the fact that this child right here, 13 years old, was jumping out at the apex of this lift hill, I mean, unbelievably dangerous, and very, very lucky that he's still with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. He's okay, obviously. Like, not hurt, not even hurt. Released from the hospital already, from what I understand.
Minor scrapes and cuts. Taken to the hospital as a precaution, released that day.
Okay, keeping in mind that he's fine, how great must that picture that ride photo be?
You know, it's funny you say this. There were some Imagineers saying something similar. They would pay top dollar for that ride photo.
Because I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it didn't pop up on the thing. Because there's somebody who literally, like, they sit there to make sure you're not doing anything untoward on the ride photos. And if you are, like, you know, like I know a guy who, like, held up, like, a championship belt going down, right, and his picture never appeared.
That's unfortunate.
Or like somebody holding up like a trophy or something like that in celebration, and yeah, the picture never popped up because they killed them when you know.
They used to be so fun, right, Marvin? The most famous one that I remember off the top of my head was the guys playing the GameCube. Mm-hmm. So you had one guy with a controller, one guy with a controller, one guy holding up the GameCube, another person holding up like a cardboard TV, showcasing what they're actually playing. Pretty imaginative stuff.
The last time my wife and I went down it, we took the picture, literally the two of us like this.
Oh, yes.
It's just so boring. Though I will say, I went on this ride once 3 times in a row. Mm-hmm. Tiana's Bayou adventure. Mm-hmm. I was with Jay and X-Wing. Mm-hmm. And we were at after hours, and there was literally nobody in line but us. And so they kept being like, hey, do you want to go again? And Jay and X were like, yeah. And I'm like, no. They really liked it. X-Wing was like, oh, I don't see anything wrong with that ride. And I'm just like, what?
Were they familiar with what it replaced?
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, I think, like, at the end of the day, I guess when you look at it without comparing it to Splash Mountain, you can find some enjoyment. But, oh my goodness, I can't.
Tough stuff.
Yeah.
This was a harrowing event right here. A lot of people were very, very scared. I know I saw some reports out there where a lady like screamed, actually having seen it at the time right there. I'm just thankful that everybody is okay, and it's going to be interesting to watch this particular attraction and what it means, not just for this ride, but for the entire industry, right? Because if in fact this is a serious issue and Cal OSHA comes down on Disney because this investigation is pending currently, it could mean that, hey, you do get some kind of restraint system with this log ride. And what does that mean for other log rides around the country with such a notable incident? That is yet to be defined.
I remember when I was a kid and I went down Splash Mountain for the first time at Disney World, they didn't have a restraint system. And I remember asking, like, why? Like why am I not strapped into this? There's going to be this massive drop. And yeah, it was... I don't understand why, like what, like, you know what? I think we actually have a clip that is pretty perfect for this.
You didn't. Well, of all the cheap, lousy ways to save a buck.
Strap people into your rides. So witnesses, Disney has not released details, nor will they, about how the incident unfolded. The witnesses who discussed the situation online painted a dramatic picture. According to Fox News, several guests reported seeing the boy slide down the attraction's steep final drop before emergency personnel arrived. One Reddit user who claimed to be riding the attraction at the time said passengers witnessed the teenager fall moments before the ride came to a stop. Another commenter wrote, he attempted to exit the ride vehicle at the top of the final drop. The ride stop mechanism failed to engage or was already past the threshold for the vehicle to enter the free fall. I think that's probably true.
Yes.
That hasn't been independently verified, but I think that's probably true. Tiana's Bayou Adventure remained closed for the rest of Sunday evening before reopening the following day. Disney has not indicated the attraction experienced any mechanical malfunction. Based on the company's public statements, the incident appears to have stemmed from a guest exiting the vehicle while the attraction was in operation rather from a ride failure. That distinction is likely to be important as more details emerge. But even if the attraction functioned as designed, many fans are asking the obvious question, how was a guest able to exit the ride vehicle so close to the attraction's final drop? Well, we know the answer to that because they're not strapped in. Tiana's Bayou Adventure utilizes a traditional log flume ride system that relies heavily on riders remaining seated throughout the experience. So yeah, guys, keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the rides at all times, or you might be getting one of the single craziest ride photos that has ever been experienced in Walt Disney World.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.